Drinks Down Under is finished, but getting to that point wasn't as easy as you might think. In this devlog, I will show you what has changed in the past 2 months and the ups and downs we had to go through to get there. But before that, make sure you wishlist the game on Steam so that you get notified when it's released on July 2nd. After running a closed beta, we found out that many players just really wanted more things to do. The game already felt fun, we just had to give them more of it and improve on what we already had. So picture this, you just finished a day at the bar and one of your regulars, Gex Gambino, comes up to the counter murmuring something to himself. He then tells you about the Nomads, a rival gang of mercats with whom the Gambinos have history with, and not good history. Gex leaves soon after that and you close up shop. There's still work to do though, and so you look back at how you did today, what people have been asking for, and then you go to the shop and restock accordingly. Gex is a great customer, but you can't help thinking that trouble might be coming once the geckos and mercats are in the same room together. You push away the thought and start the next day with a fresh face. You give yourself a daily goal to keep the motivation up and start prepping the ingredients you'll likely need to use. Everything is going well throughout the day until suddenly you hear a commotion in the back of the room. You excuse yourself to see what's going on, and suddenly a bottle explodes in front of you. A gecko and a mercat have broken into a fight and objects are flying left to right. Livid, you pick up a bottle yourself. "Get out of my bar!" you shout, and then you throw the bottle at the duo. Surprised at the outburst, they stop and look at you, and then take it outside. You don't feel good about it, but you don't let it stop you, and the day continues with a great service as usual. Today, all ended well, but a time might come where you'll have to make tough choices. And that's the Drinks Down Under experience that we want you to have. A relaxing experience that focuses on improving your service, your bar, and your friendships with your customers. Even when they don't get along, or when it's rush hour, or when you don't remember a recipe, it's still supposed to be a fun and relaxing experience. So what's changed exactly since last time? Well, the first big thing is bar fights. We wanted to reinforce that this isn't a shiny bar. You are a dirty tavern in the middle of Plunderstick, one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. So bar fights and people causing trouble seem like the natural progression of things. The game waits for specific criteria to be met, and then once a gecko and a mercat are in the same room, there is a chance that a fight will break out. Then we needed a way for the player to stop the fight without having to leave the counter, so throwing bottles to drive them away seemed like the best way to go about it. I think the hardest part was coming up with punishments for not stopping the bar fight without introducing entirely new mechanics. We thought about making fights actually break the bar so that you have to spend money to repair it, but that would add an additional level of complexity that we didn't want to add. Or, for example, make them tear down your reputation if you let them go on for too long, but that felt a little too restrictive as it would be a fine balance between a good and an annoying mechanic. Plus, it would render bar fights useless in game modes that didn't use reputation, so we decided to scrap that. Eventually, we went with the flying objects mechanic, so during a fight, bottles will fly and land on top of clients and drinking areas, which will scare off less rowdy clients. This doesn't change the game too much and keeps the bar fight consequences restricted to that day, which ultimately felt right to us. After bar fights came quests, so the natural progression of the game was already okay, but we wanted to give the player a little motivation to push themselves harder. So now, in the beginning of each day, the player is given a daily task. If they complete it, they are awarded a small amount of sludge bucks, so just a little something to work towards. Speaking of objectives to work towards, we now have achievements, a whole bunch of them, and so you can work on getting through all of them. They're not hard to obtain, it just takes some time, and hopefully it'll make your experience more enjoyable as well, and kind of nudge you in what direction you should go to. Now here are the changes that aren't so noticeable, but are still worth mentioning. The classic mode UI received a major update. It has nothing to do with the previous one, and I just think that the new one looks a lot slicker, and it is exactly what I envisioned it as at first. Some of the characters got some visual cleanup, more specifically Gex and this new character called Vinny. You can now increase your friendship with some customers, which will grant you bigger tips, perks, and unique events with that customer, including decisions that pit some customers against each other, so choose wisely. We've also added more customization to the bar, so new chairs, new tables, new sign colors, things like that, just to give you a little something to put your style in. Also, new tutorials which are less intrusive and only need to be done if you choose so if you want to skip the tutorial, feel free. The game is not hard to learn, so only do it if you need to. And finally, we've added 2 new game modes, Survival and Practice, which are exactly what the name makes them out to be. There's a bunch more under the hood changes that are like quality of life sort of updates, but since the game hasn't really been out yet and we haven't talked much about those, then they are not as noticeable, and so I will leave them out of this video. And that is all. That is Drinks Down Under, which you can wishlist now on Steam so that we can have the best launch possible on July 2nd. Until then, I will be working on marketing the game, as we have done shamefully little amounts of, and begin working on the next game probably, to which we have some ideas already-ish. Also, there might be a demo for Drinks Down Under soon, but it will not be featured on Steam Next Fest, as I missed the deadline for it, unfortunately. But no fret, I am ready to move on to newer and bigger things. Drinks Down Under was a fun project, but yeah, I'm ready for something else. Also, I might start streaming again. I've had a few ideas that I think might be fun and helpful to a lot of people, and I want to test them out with a community. So if you want to stick around and hopefully learn and build together, make sure you subscribe to the channel and come say hi from time to time. Now that is all I have for you today. Let me know what you think of the new Drinks Down Under changes down below, and also what you would like to see next from me. If there are any last minute implementations I should do, then say it now or hold your peace forever. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you soon.